Currency.
Stack a couple bitcoins.
Money,
Pull up on my Nakamoto.
Hello. Welcome to the Blockchain Dynamics Show.
Good afternoon.
How's it going, Woody?
Doing good. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank
awesome.
you. It is Sunday, January 22, 2017.
That's right. Episode number 47.
Here we are. One great thing, by the way, that Woody does is he timestamps everything in these shows. And so oftentimes we're like talking about, a million different coins a day. What you can do is hop into, if you actually click on the track in SoundCloud, so it goes to like the detail page, you will see all of the timestamps. So if you're like, hey, what coin are they talking about or whatever, you can always just check the timestamps. It's all right there. It's pretty sweet.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Another interesting thing that I've been using on Google is I can put in a coin's name and Blockchain Dynamics and find the show that we mention it on, which has been kind of convenient sometimes.
Dope. So yeah, just one cool thing to check out there. As usual, we are brought to you this week by Cryptopia. That's www.cryptopia.co.nz. And they are just a really great altcoin platform. They've got a really great exchange, as well as forums, a marketplace, and a lot of other cool features.
Yeah, definitely. One of their unique features is term deposits, which not many people would think fits into maybe the crypto space, but it does actually. It's been working really well.
There's also a couple of features that I've been liking lately. They have a notification system. So when you first log in, it'll just kind of give you an update on everything that's happened, any trades or anything that have cleared since you were gone, which is a really convenient way to keep up with, what you've got going on in the different markets. I've been loving that. And they also have a night mode feature, which I didn't know about until just today.
Yeah, so nice place. Just been enjoying it more and more, to be honest. And we also want to remind people about our Wolong Awards, which are now in the voting stage.
Yeah, these votes, they've been pouring in.
Yeah, this week was great for votes. We really appreciate everybody taking the time. And the results are starting to sort of form. I'm getting kind of excited about it.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
We could always use a little more input. So if you head over to blockchaindynamics.net, up in the right-hand corner, you'll see the Wolong Awards. Go ahead and just vote for your favorite coins.
We're also going to give away 500 Mineum again this week, so stay tuned. That giveaway will be coming up later in the show.
Yep, really looking forward to that.
Alrighty, let's jump into the good stuff here. We're going to start off this week with a second look at a coin called Stratis.
Yeah. As most people probably know, Stratis not too long ago got onto Poloniex. It's one of the most recent Poloniex listings.
Yep, this is a big 2016 IPO coin, kind of following along with the smart contract theme, I guess that was so popular, especially when Ethereum was at its peak of its pump.
Definitely. I mean, it goes by a few different names, smart contracts, a blockchain platform, I don't know. These guys are building it so that you can code your stuff to run on their platform in C#.
Right, so Bitcoin coded in C++. Ethereum uses the Solidity language. Their selling point here is that they're using C#, which it's kind of, we've seen a trend with a lot of different coins to be like, oh, well, we're going to be a smart contract platform that uses, this language natively. So like Lisk is using, I think, Node.js or JavaScript. Obviously, like we said, Bitcoin and Ethereum use C++ and Solidity. And so now they're saying, okay, we're out here, we're going to do C#.
Right. And that does have its sort of appeal, I think, because so many people already practice C#.
Right. It's it's one of the top languages for sure. So that's obviously, if there is a future for smart contracts, it is kind of reasonable to assume that there could be multiple platforms. And so it's not at all unreasonable to think that a coin like this could be competitive even in a crowded market. But as usual with these smart contract platforms, the thing that we've always been looking out for is, what can we actually do with this right now?
Right, we're looking for applications.
Exactly, yep. And so we went out hunting for that on Stratis, and we didn't really see too much, at least in the early searching.
No, but it does look like they're pretty early on, and one thing we did find, at least, was that they recently released what is a Bitcoin full node for their platform, and that's an alpha version. But the concept there, of course, would be essentially think of it as you're running a Bitcoin wallet on Stratis. Is that right, Brandon?
Well, essentially, so this gets into that more into like the native language stuff. What they're doing is creating a Bitcoin node in C# that will work as a full Bitcoin node. But I think the idea from their perspective, is that then allows the integration of the Bitcoin daemon into potentially Stratis code a lot more seamlessly.
Yeah, so it's not so much running on there as much as now it can interact directly with Stratis.
Exactly.
Would be their idea.
And so, again, we're always looking for things that we can actually grab onto and see today, and that's one of the things that they're offering. Did you say it was out, or it's like...
it says it's in an alpha release at the moment.
Okay.
So I didn't try it or anything. We did download the wallet.
Yep.
Which was surprisingly normal.
Yeah, it was just a normal Qt, just kind of what we're used to. So obviously, to what extent they are going to be integrating futures, at this point they aren't a part of the GUI wallet.
Right.
But yeah, interesting coin. As Woody said, it just recently got added to Poloniex. It's been just chilling on Bittrex for quite a while. And it's been pretty quiet, honestly, since it got onto Poloniex. We've seen some kind of small swings, but nothing too major. And it'll be fun to see kind of where this coin goes.
Yeah. And, you already stated it, but once again, I'm just really interested in applications for any of these smart platforms at the moment.
Yep, I completely agree.
I like the Bitcoin node idea because then you can have contracts that sort of span across the two blockchains, maybe.
Yeah, everyone, this idea of integrating into Bitcoin is also one that we kind of hear about a lot. And once again, we never really see it get used very much. And so what I like about this is that by building this full C# node, they've kind of proven that they're a little bit more serious about that potentially than a lot of previous altcoins have been.
Yeah, I could imagine a contract at that point that allowed you to trade Bitcoin for, well, at the very least, Stratis safely.
Yeah, definitely.
On some sort of market. But, then if you could make a wallet, a full node for another coin, let's just say Dogecoin, then I could imagine a Stratis application that would allow you to safely trade across those other currencies as well.
Yeah, that's true, and it would just be up to potentially third-party developers to create probably those different wallets.
And I don't know if that's necessarily unique to Stratis or if it's just that they've gone through this groundwork of making the node at the moment, and that's kind of what we're looking at.
Yep.
They did kind of have a interesting post about their last year and where they're heading. And, like we mentioned, last year they had their successful ICO, got listed on Poloniex.
Yep.
And so from here, it's kind of time to prove the concept.
Yeah, they kind of have to prove that they deserve a space with these top-tier cryptos, I think. And it'll be exciting to see what they come up with. Alrighty, that does it for our second look here at Stratis. Next, we're going to jump into the news.
News.
Love that news. As usual, we're going to lead off with some China stuff. That could be its own segment at this point, just like China news.
Yep. It's fascinating, honestly. It just kind of adds to the drama, and it does seem to alter things occasionally, or at least coincide.
Yeah, and it's just something that we don't have a lot of insight into, obviously, as English-only speaking crypto traders. And so it's always fun to see what's going on over there. This week, the ongoing drama, I guess, with the People's Bank of China and the investigations into Bitcoin exchanges continues. And once again, we're just seeing these exchanges starting to reel it in, I guess you could say. They now this week are talking about charging fees.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
Seems reasonable.
Yeah, it wasn't until sometime in 2015 that I was even aware that OKCoin had 0 fees on their Chinese market exchange, and I was like, what? How does that even work?
Right.
But obviously we've seen, with the combination of that and all the leverage trading and other things, they can build their business model around other ways.
Yeah. Well, I had mentioned how we'd kind of talked about how the Chinese exchanges maybe were taking a harder hit than the U.S. ones during last week.
Right.
But
yeah.
it didn't seem to be the case this week. It seemed like things were kind of looking a little more normalized as far as which exchanges were leading in price and things like that.
The Chinese exchanges actually have the premium, I guess, for Bitcoin and Chinese yuan is back there now. Last week, for like the first time in months, it was below the price on like Finex or Bitstamp or whatever. This week it's kind of back to normal, I guess, by being a little bit more expensive.
Yeah.
And, Huobi was down last time we tried to get to it, so that hasn't really changed either. They're still, they're still under constant DDoS and dealing with that kind of stuff. There's also a possibility of reining in foreign traders potentially altogether, or at least
yeah, I saw that.
Limiting
I even
deposits.
I saw it kind of posted on Twitter as a rumor, and then there was a screenshot that almost made it look like they were no longer accepting deposits in yuan from non-Chinese people.
Right. Well, honestly, I'm kind of, in some ways, excited about this news as an alt trader, because if there's one thing we've learned that makes alt trading challenging, it's constant volatility in Bitcoin, because your price profile is so heavily affected by what's going on with Bitcoin. So for me, at least, I'm thinking if this kind of pullback in a lot of the more extreme stuff that was going on in these markets, if it does contribute to stability of Bitcoin price, that's probably going to be good for us as alt traders.
Yeah, I can definitely understand that. And it'll be interesting to see what it has. I mean, you've got to wonder how fake a lot of the trading was. And I don't know if we'll ever actually have a satisfactory answer to that.
Well, there's always, we talk about fake volume a lot, and it's like, it's not really a cut and dry thing. There's like a kind of a fine line between what could be considered real, what can be considered fake volume, and what's just, really high frequency bot trading. And when you go down to zero fees, that line becomes like so blurry that it's almost hard to even categorize as real, because, the bots on the market, they have this incentive to just pretty much trade as fast as they can. And if they're making money, it doesn't matter to the bot whether it's trading against itself or not, or really what's happening. And so you get into this situation where it's hard to even call anything, what is fake, what is real. The incentives kind of get messed up that way. And I think that's one of the things that the PBOC is probably trying to reel in with these changes.
Yeah. And I mean, life isn't fair, but as far as fairness goes, when you don't know who's trading at what fee levels, then that gets a little bit harder to be an effective trader.
Well,
or at least at the high volume, high capacity, or, high frequency trading you're talking about.
Well, that's the nice thing about having zero fees, is because you do know that everybody's paying zero fees.
Well, yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, zero's nice.
When you actually start getting into tiered fee systems is when that starts to become confusing, like with what, for instance, Poloniex has. When you watch a buy and a sell in a market, you don't know if the person doing the trade, you don't know what fee they're paying. That's not really the case with like OKCoin. You know that everyone's not paying any fee. So that's one of the cool things about it.
Yeah, I see. We knew on the Chinese market no one was paying any fees, but I've always suspected that certain players on the U.S., like on the other side, on the other markets, aren't paying fees either, I guess is what I always assumed.
The question is, do they have
an assumption?
Do they have a tiered fee system on their U.S. dollar market exchange? I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
I think they do. I think to some extent that's public too. I don't recall I briefly browsed their OKCoin USD site, but I think they have a tiered fee system, so high volume gets reduced like you'd see on Poloniex.
So interesting stuff. Always got to keep our eye over on the Chinese news at this point.
Yep. Let's see. In some altcoin news this week, Pascal coin is a coin that we've been trying to keep up with. And where we left off, they still did not have a pool miner. And that has now changed this week.
They got the miner, but they don't have the pool.
Got the miner, they got no pool. Yep, OC Miner did pop into the thread. And kind of, he was checking out the wallet, I guess, but he said that it's not likely that he's going to make a pool.
Looked like it was a little too unconventional to be... Juice wasn't worth the squeeze quite yet, so maybe somebody else will have to be the first to step up.
Yeah, so, but the nice thing to know is that the possibility is out there, so that's a huge step for Pascal coin. And they had a big swing up in the market as well, kind of matching with that.
The monetary unit had an announcement.
Yeah, they have announced MUEX, brought to you by the Monetary Unit team. This is a crypto portal like no other.
What's going on here?
I think what we got here is this is kind of what MUE has been working towards for a really long time. I'm not sure if it was in plain sight or if they were kind of keeping it behind the scenes because I haven't really been following MUE that closely. But the bottom line is it's supposed to be essentially a one-stop crypto trading shop. I'm not sure what the MUE does in the scene, like whether you power it up with your MUE coins or whatever. But as far as the futures, they are saying that eventually we'll have Forex trading, anonymous exchange, setting up nodes, block explorers, bootstraps, trade alarms and alerts, market cap information, emails, mining contracts, just a whole bundle of kind of what constitutes a lot of the core services of crypto.
Okay.
And what they're starting off now is with just the Forex. So the only thing that's working now is the Forex service. And yeah, it's out there. I have not ever traded Forex. I haven't tried their thing yet, but it's kind of nice to see the MUE crew delivering, I guess, on what they've been working on for so long.
Yeah, nice. That's cool.
And also interesting to see a Forex exchange being driven out of a kind of an altcoin service like this. It's I don't know, just not what I would expect to see.
It's always the adoption that's the tough part there we've talked about.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and I wonder how is it underwritten? Do they have some kind of interface to execute the trades on the more major Forex markets? Are they keeping cash in reserve? Like, I kind of wonder how the implementation of something like that actually works, but it's out there. You can try it. The website is www.muex.io.
A little bit Ethereum Classic news this week. They have an investment fund?
Apparently, noted crypto guy Barry Silbert has launched with his digital currency company something called the Ethereum Investment Trust. And I guess it's some sort of investment vehicle for Ethereum Classic, not Ethereum main chain.
Okay.
Now, to be honest, as somebody who didn't come from a financial background, who's gotten into crypto, it's really hard for me to understand like what's the point of something like this? Like, what role does it have in the crypto scene? Is it just a way for people to buy Ethereum Classic with US dollars? Is it some kind of value asset that's pegged somehow to the price of Ethereum Classic? Like, why would I want to buy this instead of just buying the coin on the exchange?
Absolutely, man.
I have no idea.
What better way to get into a coin than simply holding it or trading it?
Yeah, exactly. It's like a Wall Street approach to a crypto problem. So I don't necessarily understand what the point is, but that doesn't mean what I don't understand is a lot of things. So
right.
Obviously, there was a huge spike in the Ethereum Classic price after the news this week. Jumped from like 130 to 150.
Yeah, I find it. I'm kind of in the same boat as you. I'm not really sure about the significance, but it sounds interesting. It's the type of news where people are just kind of like hinting that there's money looking at something, right? Which I don't always necessarily like that kind of news for my own investing purposes, but it is worthwhile, I think, to note.
Yeah, there's also definitely some salty people in the Ethereum core community who are like, the name of it is Ethereum Investment Trust, which kind of doesn't even imply that it's Ethereum Classic, which is funny, but that just shows how complicated cryptos can be. And, I don't see, there's really no reason to get upset about it. It's like that's their game to play.
Yeah, the problem is there's not enough Ethereums yet.
Yeah, exactly. We need a Ethereum.
I think Lite has to be.
Ethereum Lite would be great.
Yeah.
I think there's a couple like a dark Ethereum floating around on Yobit, which I'm sure is just a regular script QT or something. But yeah, the Ethereum Investment Fund is out there. It's for Ethereum Classic, and it seems to be getting people riled up.
This one was a little interesting because it was one of the points where we start to see cryptocurrency coming up in new legislation. Apparently in Washington State, They have a bill that's being put through the process that would, quote, not allow marijuana retail outlets to accept virtual currency for purchase or sale of marijuana or any marijuana product. Which I haven't seen the reason that I put this on the list was I hadn't seen a law like this related to cryptocurrency ever, and especially not to a specific industry. I thought it was pretty unique.
Well, it's really funny because as alt traders, one thing that there's always a lot of altcoins that are the weed-focused altcoins, and one of their main selling points is that they're going to be used to sidestep the banks for the marijuana business, obviously. And so to have the Washington government come out and just like directly target a bill at exactly that specific use case is interesting to see something that kind of right on point, I guess.
Yeah, and of course their justification is that they basically went through this legalization process to try to get rid of what was a black market.
Right.
And so now their concern is that they've basically lost control already, and they would lose track of a huge portion of what's happening.
Right.
So I can see their perspective, like, if I try to look at it from a governmental point of view. But I also don't think that it's very smart to try to stop that type of thing. I would have gone for a different approach if I was ever a politician.
Yeah, I agree completely. And, just another thing that shows how complicated the landscape is going to be going forward.
Yeah. It sucks because it's actually really cool that that was kind of it seemed like one of the likely industries to almost adopt this type of technology,
right,
because it was already sort of off of the mainstream, and, people might not mind buying a cryptocurrency to get a discount on marijuana, but we'll see what happens there.
Right.
It's definitely not signed into law or anything.
Alrighty, that was the Washington State bill that would ban digital currency for marijuana transactions. Next on the news this week, DrEcks is back in the news, and as usual, it's because they are delisting a ton of coins.
Yep, some of them are just getting straight up delisted without warning, I guess,
yeah,
and then some of them are on the chopping block, as they say.
Yeah, the real kicker here is that they have raised the requirement for trading volume on their website to half of a Bitcoin per day.
Man.
Average. That's just...
Yeah, I'm a little disappointed, honestly.
I agree.
I just feel like, they always claimed that they didn't trade on their website, and now I believe them, basically, that they don't really trade altcoins, because that 0.5 a day just is an unnecessary barrier to not only like an altcoin's success, but it just doesn't make or break the long-term viability of anything, Yeah, and I just don't get it. I'm just totally baffled, I guess, where they came up with that idea.
Yeah, exactly. It's so tone deaf, I think, for what is going on in the community right now and what's going on with the markets. I just, okay, so what I do like here is that they did just go ahead and announce, one big list of coins, like, we are going to delist these. They're done, right? I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
Because...
they can do that.
Yeah, that's their right. There's nothing wrong with that. There's a couple of coins that I think probably shouldn't, maybe don't deserve to be delisted or whatever, but that's always going to be the case. Like, I can live with that.
For sure.
What I don't like is this list of 50 coins that's like half of their exchange, half of their market pairs, and they're like, oh, by the way, if we don't get half a Bitcoin a day on these are all delisted.
Yeah.
It's just like...
So the optimist in me just hopes that this is... that they aren't as blind or deaf as they seem, and that this is all part of a larger kind of relaunch to become this new Bittrex that maybe we'll be impressed with again.
Yeah, I would love to see that. There was a tweet floating around of like, hey guys, why not just delist everything and start from scratch if this is going to be the route?
Yeah. Because nobody knows what kind of coins they even want anymore. It's really like, how do you get on Bittrex beyond paying them? Yeah.
And crypto...
Or maybe that's the only way. But then they could just make that clear, It seems like maybe there's a lot of bag holders that are just like hoping Bittrex will list their coin at some point.
Yeah. I think crypto, there's so much uncertainty in crypto already, even when things are mostly working right, that to add this additional kind of caveat of, oh, by the way, we may or may not delist this coin from our exchange altogether at some point in the future. You're not going to know. It's just like it's not good. You want some kind of stability. So I think that idea of just starting from scratch or something and saying, okay, these are the coins we're going to trade.
Sure, they could still add back in some of the same ones, right?
Yeah, these are the coins we're going to trade, and these are the coins that are going to be here for the long term. Would be, unless the chain fails or something. That would be a smart move, because at least then you know what they have. You'll know what they're about. You can plan around it.
Yeah.
Because, there's a lot of people, like, if you're somebody, who's written a bot for Bittrex, you're going to be looking at this and being like, well, this is a complete disaster for me. I have no idea what I can trade. I have no idea what... you can't write code for something that's going to happen in the future that may or may not happen in the future. So it's kind of not a good approach to this whole thing, in my opinion. So
we'll see what happens there.
Yep, and that's the DrEcks delisting news.
Bitcoin volume picking up in Japan.
Yeah, this is a nice little piece of news here that was kind of circulating this week. We're looking at CryptoCoinsNews.com. And they're saying that Bitcoin merchants have seen an 8,900% volume spike in Japan.
Over what time period is that?
In December, I believe.
Oh, wow.
Really cool.
Very nice.
It's one of those things where I've always kind of wondered why cryptocurrency wasn't more popular in Japan. Like, we just never really interacted with Japanese coins or Japanese traders much. And it's nice to see that it's finally catching on.
Yeah, very cool.
In the article, they're saying there's kind of a general opinion on Bitcoin that it was mostly used for money laundering and stuff, kind of back in the MT Gox days. And apparently that is kind of starting to change because they're seeing a lot more adoption now.
Cool.
So
well, of course, I mean, I view from a distance that they're a very high-tech society, so I imagine that they might be able to understand electronic transactions a little better than some other people, maybe some other societies.
Yeah,
it is
sure.
What else happened?
I picked up a Ledger Nano S this week. I'm excited about that. Just with the $1,100 Bitcoin spike, I realized it was kind of ridiculous to not have some kind of semi-offline or more secure storage vehicle.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's great. It works really well. It's really easy to use. Really highly recommended. I was looking at the Trezor, and honestly, it seems like it's kind of a wash as far as futures go. But the Trezor was sold out when I went to order, so I'm impatient, so I went with the Nano S.
Oh, nice. And everything, it was easy peasy to get stuff moved over to it and everything?
Yeah, it has a little Chrome app that you use, essentially, like a Chrome extension that is the wallet. And then you can enter a PIN number through the device itself, and that kind of opens up access to the wallet. And then if the device gets smashed or whatever, there's like a 20-word recovery seed that you record that you have to store off somewhere. And so you can use that to regenerate the wallet if you ever need to get back to it again or it gets destroyed or whatever. But yeah, it's really fun, and kind of just, it feels good to have at least a little bit of Bitcoin just kind of saved off where it's not going to get compromised.
Yeah, I like those. I like the hardware wallets for a lot of reasons, but one of them is just that it adds that it's a little bit different decision-making process to move those Bitcoins around from now on. I feel like now that they're on that device.
Yeah, well, one thing that's going to be nice for me is for shuffling money around to different exchanges or shuffling it around to mining services and stuff is always annoying. I don't like initiating withdrawals to exchanges to do that. And so I'm just going to kind of use that as a center point. I was using Coinbase for a little bit, and obviously that has lost a little bit of its appeal. And so now it'll be nice just to have everything based out of the hardware wallet. And it's nice to have something that's real, feels real. So yeah, good stuff.
We saw a post for and wanted to kind of make people aware of the Nexus catchphrase contest.
All right.
This guy posted on Bitcoin Talk that he wants to come up with a catchphrase for Nexus, and he's going to give out 1,000 Nexus to somebody. Minimum, he says.
Sweet. What's Nexus worth?
He says that's worth $120, the 1,000 Nexus.
That ain't bad.
No. But anyway, just thought I'd let people know, and then also remind you.
It's a catchphrase?
Yeah, a catchphrase. the example he gives is to the blockchain and beyond.
Oh, okay. Well, he should just go with that then. I think he should win his own.
Yeah, it
bet.
sounds like he already figured it out. But
what's the difference between a catchphrase and a slogan?
A catchphrase is what like a character on a TV show has.
So this is gonna be.
It's got to be light.
Nexus is cheeky and fun.
Yeah.
They'd like put it at the end of their videos.
I also wanted to just mention once more that there's a BitSquare naming contest going on, and they're giving away a half a Bitcoin over there too.
Yeah, cool.
And then also just send us in any news that you want to have covered. We're happy to try to mention it on the show.
It's true. It's true. Always looking for fresh news. We have a thread on the Cryptopia forums. If you head over there in the forums section, under the altcoin subsection, the Blockchain Dynamics show thread is stickied up there. And we always love it when people stop by and throw us ideas. And that's why we give away people dots when they do swing by.
Yep.
Stop by in the thread, post some news, or really any kind of comment. We'll throw you 5,000 dots. We're up in the reward.
Mm-hmm.
But let's see. Next, we are going to jump into the markets.
Right. I guess we were going to start off this week just kind of by talking about our personal experiences this week. And for me, most of my bags have been sort of mellowy downward. Mostly okay with that because I had a pretty good rise last week. I'm about even in US dollars. Literally, I'm down like $20 USD despite a pretty larger drop in BTC. And then the one outlier there is Pascal, which is doing really well.
Right.
I've also just started looking at more markets on LiveCoin that I might be able to participate in because I'm interested in just kind of, you know, there's different probably traders or whales on every exchange. I'm sure they mix match, but I think they all kind of have their own as well. And so like figuring out kind of how to get into a different exchange seemed beneficial at this point.
Yeah, and we're really seeing a lot of the smaller exchanges start to rise in volume and activity lately. So at least where, you know, there's still always going to be a lot of different, I guess, opportunities out there, different places to trade. I had kind of a fun and frustrating week. Last week when we were talking about Jumbucks, the Jumbucks swap, and I had been meaning to buy Jumbucks for a long time, so at least sometime before the swap went down. And so last week I was like, oh shit, I didn't buy any Jumbucks yet, I'm running out of time. I put a bid in that, like, immediately that day, and that was like the day, it was like a bid at like 8,100, and then immediately the next day it was like when it started taking off. So I was kind of pissed off that I didn't get any Jumbucks.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's been super bullish.
You know, that's how it goes sometimes, no big deal. I also have been underwater on a really terrible ETH Classic trade that I made, and I had just been kind of lamenting it. And then that just, obviously the ridiculous Barry Silbert Ethereum investment thing news broke and bailed me out of all that hot water. So
nice, that must have
great.
been nice.
So yeah, it turned out to be all right for me. But as kind of the same with you, most of everything I did kind of worked out to be a wash except for Pascal.
I did forget Zcoin too. I got bought out of Zcoin.
Oh, yeah. Well, that must feel good. Yeah, Zcoin's on like what, BTC 38 now apparently.
Oh, right. Yeah.
That's cool.
We saw that right before we went live. Yeah, overall just it feels like there's, when I look at all the, like I'm looking at, you know, one of my hobbies you might even say is just go look at altcoin markets. So
yeah,
a lot of them just feel right now like they could be on the verge of going up, and I'm still just having feeling like I just can't be in all of them at once, basically.
Yeah,
and I got to find the right ones at the right times.
We were kind of caught up in the alts are back frenzy that happened off that little spike last week, and I think might have spoken too soon. It seems like the markets are still really sensitive to what's going on with Bitcoin, And we're still in that like hyper volatility zone right after a huge spike where, $100 up or down in a day isn't unbelievable. And I'm learning as I try and do more just kind of normal conventional trading. It's really hard to trade altcoins in a choppy Bitcoin environment. And I'm seeing that kind of play out in the markets and how it almost makes sense to just, wait out the markets a little bit, potentially ignore some opportunities that you might normally jump into, just because you don't want to get wrecked just because Bitcoin went up, 10% in a day or whatever.
Yeah, I know. And the thing is, like, even if Bitcoin spikes 10% in a day, like you say, and alts get wrecked, then you're in the spot where you're either going to hold those and hope that it something. It's pretty fun, honestly. I guess that's why we're here.
Yeah, it is fun, and there's a lot of opportunities in that kind of market too. And I'm sure there are people that are good at exploiting them. But as somebody who's kind of my main strategy has never really been just kind of the regular buy sell trading, so it's hard for me to be able to be competitive in that kind of market, I think.
So hit me up with some stats. Where are we at overall, Brando?
Here we go. Overall market news. Overall numbers: Bitcoin up this week, 12.7%.
Big rise.
This is actually one of the biggest weekly rises since we started tracking. So, like we said, just hyper volatile, I guess. Still.
Yep.
All that crazy China stuff going on. Yep, that's Bitcoin. Ethereum chilling at 0.015. It's down this week about 3.4% versus Bitcoin, but up 8.8% versus USD.
Makes sense.
So getting still rising in USD value, I guess, but just not at the same pace as Bitcoin. Overall, altcoins are down about 5% relative to Bitcoin, but they're up about 7% compared to US dollar. And really, so what's interesting here, one of the things that I've been looking at is how do the altcoin markets look if you include Ethereum, and how do they look overall without Ethereum? And what I'm trying to figure out is, are the markets, is the fate of the overall market still tied to the biggest pump coin, which at the moment is Ethereum, or are some of these other contenders like XMR, Ethereum Classic, Zcash, are some of these other coins starting to drive the direction of the overall markets a little more? And for the second week in a row, what we kind of found out is that the numbers, whether you include Ethereum or don't, are basically about the same. They're very similar. And what that tells you is that even without Ethereum, the overall direction of the alt markets is still tracking in the trajectory of what Ethereum is doing.
Mm-hmm.
So we're not seeing that, like a Monero, for instance, is currently way out of sync with the overall alt markets, and so is Zcash. Same with Ethereum Classic. So if you're to look at any coin to be kind of carrying the market, I guess right now it's still Ethereum. As far as just the overall top 100 coins, about 1/3 of them are down versus USD. So 2/3 of coins up, 1/3 down against US dollar. And the opposite is true versus Bitcoin. About 2/3 are down versus Bitcoin, and about 1/3 are up this week.
Cool.
And some other interesting news just in those overall numbers. The overall altcoin market cap now from CoinMarketCap is back to $2.5 billion. This is interesting because it is now essentially reached the previous high was last year in kind of around June and September. There were a few spikes where it got up to close to $3 billion, but kind of the highest stable price that we ever saw was this $2.5 billion, and we're now right back up there. So it's kind of, you mentioned it last week, it's like if alts aren't back, then they never left. It kind of seems like they did never leave. We're already back up to the same price we were.
Uh-huh.
And so it's just a question of do they have the momentum to continue to potentially break into some new highs, or are we on the edge of a cliff?
Yeah, I can't wait to find out.
Yep. One other thing that we're keeping track of is we want to start tracking the ETH dominance of the altcoin markets. So it's just a question of what percentage of total altcoin market caps is Ethereum. And that this week the number on that was 38.05%.
Okay, wow.
And we're going to just kind of track that over time and see how it changes.
It's a big one.
Yep.
As far as gainers this week go, we're looking at Pascal up 308%, Nexium up 140%, Jumbucks up 85%, and Zcoin up 38%.
Yeah, some cool coins here. I haven't really been excited about Nexium, but they seem to be certainly doing well enough on Poloniex there.
Yep.
Pascal did go up, of course, like we mentioned. Still very low volume on that, so you're seeing the spread gap is still 30%, huge number, but
yeah,
it is still going up anyway over there on Cryptopia. And Jumbucks and Zcoin, a couple of cool coins going up as well.
Jumbucks on the swap, Zcoin on the BTC 38 listing.
Yep.
Over on the loser side, we're looking at President Trump Coin, DNET, and LBRY.
Yep, pretty funny. The glory days.
What
are
goes
over.
up must come down, and that amazing Trump pump turned into an amazing Trump dump.
Who would have guessed?
Which I thought was just beautifully timed, and the market manipulation on it was incredible. The way that they essentially made it sound like it was going to pump during his inauguration, and then that was, of course, when they dumped it.
Yep, just a beautiful thing.
But just good stuff there. Alt trading.
Yep, and otherwise just DNET and LBRY both coming off of losing some recent gains.
I think it is time for the Mineum Giveaway.
Alrighty, Mineum Giveaway. Everybody tune in. This is your chance. Get that sweet, sweet Mineum.
So we're going to give 500 Mineum to the first person to send me the correct answer to this question. And you're going to send it to my Twitter account, which is @ChainDynamics. So the question is, on what block number will the Mineum proof of work phase end? On what block number will the Mineum proof of work phase end? So the first person to send the correct answer to that question, along with their Mineum address, to my Twitter, which is @ChainDynamics, will get the 500 Mineum.
Well, sweet, man. Mineum, of course, is a great little project. They are a mining farm that was created via an IPO, and now they have a they pay out dividends to the token holders.
Yep, basically.
And it's a really interesting project, and they
just got into their new data center.
Oh, excellent.
Yep. So they're stoked on that, and it's going to be, I think, fun to see how things go from here for them, because that was a big move. Probably pretty expensive, too.
Yep. Very cool. Alrighty, and we will let you know when somebody claims that sweet, sweet Mineum.
For sure. And now we are excited for the next segment, which is our new and improved rolling review.
All right, love it. New and improved. Here we go. So here's the difference. Here's what we're changing. The idea on the rolling review is that we wanted to keep up with what we thought were really cool or promising coins, kind of from their journey of being a new coin onto getting listed on the bigger exchanges and stuff.
Yeah. But we kind of got into a situation where it was too hard to get on the list, I felt like, and also too hard to get off, maybe.
Yep, exactly. So what happened is the only coins that we'd been following for the past 4 months were Pascal and Jumbucks swap and a coin called Veltor. It's like Pascal and Jumbucks swap are probably, everyone knows what's going on with those now. And Veltor is probably one of those ones where we probably could have dropped it because there's not really anything going on except for the possibility of a swap.
Yeah.
And so what we're going to do now, we're mixing it up. We're now just essentially going to cover a broader spectrum of coins and just kind of give you a week-to-week update on just what's going on with some of these new coins, whether they're weirder coins or whether we really think they have any long-term potential or not.
Yeah, so hopefully they'll come and go a little quicker, basically.
Yeah, exactly. And you guys will just get a picture of what's going on with some of these crazy coins that are out there.
So one that is on our list for the second week in a row is Healthywormcoin. This is a coin that is from a well-known developer, I Got Spots, and that was probably the first primary reason that it caught our interest.
Yep, but it goes on to be, this is the first coin that he's done under his actual human identity instead of his I Got Spots pseudonym. And really, It's a really different direction for him in a lot of ways. It's a similar direction in some ways. One way that it's a lot different is he did a huge pre-mine on this. One way that it's the same is that there's high proof-of-stake rates and all that. But what he's got going here is essentially a worm-backed cryptocurrency.
Yeah. And one thing we noticed when we were looking through the thread today that was a bit of a departure and also nice because it was so transparent is that he's announcing to stake his pre-mine fund.
Right, but he's essentially announcing when he's going to stake the pre-mine, and then he's like, what is he going to do with the pre-mine, right? So he's doing a pre-announced stake, and the idea is that he's going to use it to fund bounties, essentially. And then people are asking, of course, well, why don't you just use the original pre-mine for that?
He says, well, those are for the worms.
Yep. See, this is a worm-backed cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
And of course, the value of the worms is indexed to the 250,000 worm pre-mine.
So kind of a funny coin, and it's just going to be a good one to watch. I think I saw him tweeting out at Bittrex and stuff, so he's trying to find a spot to get it changed. When we listened to his video, he kind of said that the I Got Spots character had burnt a lot of bridges. So I guess that's where he's at.
Yeah. Well, the thing about Healthywormcoin is, as usual for his coins, they have a really high stake rate, and so they can be really, really lucrative, I guess, just if you get in on them early or are able to get in like the early blocks and start staking right away. And then you've got that big head start and stake weight and all those other advantages that come with it. They tend to be a lot tougher to get into later. And that's kind of what I'm seeing here with Healthywormcoin again. The regular block reward is extremely low. And with proof of stake, you kind of need like a large integer number of coins to get your staking working properly. Like you can't really stake right with half a coin, regardless of what the rest of the network is like. And so what we're kind of seeing some of those distribution things exaggerated on this coin.
Right, yeah. People in the thread saying, oh, it's so hard to get the coin.
Right.
And you have to wonder, do they realize, well, for somebody, it's really easy to get this coin right now.
Yeah, because
they're getting a lot of them.
The early miners can just stake them. Yeah, exactly.
So, got to be careful with that stuff.
But yeah, the fun thing about it, and this is what we've been saying, is if you didn't have I Got Spots, there wouldn't be any worm-backed cryptos.
Right.
Then where would we be?
Yeah.
So it's just he adds a lot of color, and I like seeing what happens to his projects.
Yep. We'll see where it's at next week, maybe. Also, a few coins from last week that are making it onto the rolling review and might just be their only time on here. We got Ponycoin. Ponycoin we thought looked all right because no pre-mine, and it was kind of a slow start mining, trying to be fair and appeal to the miner.
Yeah, we hadn't seen any kind of legit looking launches in weeks, and so when we saw Ponycoin, we were excited just because at least it's not a huge pre-mine Yobit coin. Not looking so good this week, unfortunately. Apparently, it doesn't work right with pools, and so it doesn't have any mining pools. And if you're just kind of a generic script clone and you don't have any mining pools, you're not in a good spot.
Yeah, it's not necessarily great, but we've certainly seen that not having a pool isn't a deal breaker for a coin.
Yeah, but usually that's coins that are new, that have new algorithms or new code in some way.
True.
For a regular
for a
whatever
script coin, yeah,
whatever coin that Ponycoin was forked from would have worked with pools, and so for it to not work with pools now means that they kind of broke something.
Right.
But it's still out there, and we'll see. We might not see this one again.
And then Empinex was last week, pre-announcement. Looks like it's still in that category. He's kind of got a few statistics worked out, but no date. Yeah,
Empinex was going to be a coin where the idea is just that he would integrate a bunch of futures from different coins, which can be fun. That can be fun for a low to medium market cap coin. And so I thought I'd keep an eye on it, but really not much activity on that one this week.
And then finally, last but not least, as I like to say, is LunaCoin from last week.
This actually looks really interesting.
Yeah, this one looks like it could end up staying on this list for more than a week. It's only on Coin Exchange, but somebody bought a lot of this coin.
Right, so here's the thing that caught my attention about LunaCoin. Comes out with the no pre-mine. That's unusual these days. The coin itself looked really standard. I think it's just a script proof of work. It's a long POW. I think 1 million blocks between halvings, so it's actually a really long proof of work. But what caught my attention immediately was that it had a really high difficulty, just kind of from square one. There have been people mining it basically the whole time. And then it gets listed on Coin Exchange, and it has essentially a bid price that justifies the difficulty. Like, you could have mined it even when it was at 500 difficulty and dumped it on Coin Exchange, and you would have made a profit. And then from there, it's gone on to pump like 4 or 5x in price from there.
Yeah.
And this is just like it's completely unlike anything that we've seen in months, honestly. We've usually this kind of coin goes out and gets really low difficulty and then just dumps for 1 Satoshi or whatever.
So it would have been a good one to catch at the beginning for sure.
Yeah, no question of that. And it just shows that there's potentially a little bit of money coming back into new coins. Like, you look at a coin like this, and it's really obvious that somebody is invested a lot in this coin, even though it's just a script clone. And they might only be invested in the market. The fact that somebody's out there and putting money into a coin like this is kind of a good sign and shows that maybe our worst days are over in new coins, I think.
Yeah, very cool.
But, I mean, there's no question that there's something going on with this coin. They wouldn't be buying up a brand new long proof of work coin up to these prices if there wasn't kind of at least a medium-term plan going on.
Well, I'm going to keep my eye on it. I kind of feel like I missed out on the mining. I'm probably wrong, but I'm going to keep my eye on it and figure out if it's something I'm interested in.
Yeah, I'm taking a spectator stance on this just because
same here.
I couldn't possibly guess as to the timing of when I would want to, how I'd want to play it. But I'm kind of just using it as an indicator and hopefully kind of showing maybe some other activities that might be going on in the market.
Yeah, seeing a high hash rate is pretty awesome these days.
Yeah, you just don't see
That's
it.
something that Healthywormcoin actually has right now too, is an increasing hash rate.
Yeah, they're on all the big pools, and the last time I looked, the difficulty was like 4,000. It's like crazy.
Okay.
Cool.
So
Just
that's our rolling review, and we'll see if any of the coins from this week end up on there next week, and if any of the ones from our current rolling review are there as well.
Yep.
We're going to go next into our random coin spotlight. We like to roll a random number and check out the coin based on the number.
This is what we do.
The first one is a roll from 1 to 100, and we ended on LiteCoin.
A little random coin that some may have heard of called LiteCoin.
Very cool. Definitely the second coin I ever heard of in my life.
Yep. I don't have like an amazing amount to say about LiteCoin that, everyone's not going to already know. Obviously, it's one of the great all-time alt pumps, so that's pretty damn cool.
Right. It was big enough that we heard about it without having any Bitcoin.
Right, yeah, exactly.
At the time. And then currently they're working on implementing SegWit. They want to be the first to do it? Is that?
Yeah, I think they would be. I don't know that any other altcoin has done it.
Yeah.
And so that would be pretty cool as well. But apparently there's like some asshole Bitcoin pool operator. I don't remember the name of the pool. But he's this Bitcoin pool operator who's adamantly trying to block SegWit on Bitcoin, has threatened to essentially take a bunch of LiteCoin hash rate and block SegWit from getting activated on LiteCoin as well.
Oh my gosh, ridiculous.
Yeah, it just shows how, I don't know, lame the crypto scene can be sometimes. But,
yeah.
That's all part of it, and that's kind of the deal that you get into when you make mining such a... it's fundamental to the concept of the technology, so I really don't like what this guy's doing, but I'm also, it's kind of fun just to see that he can do it, just to see what people can get away with.
Yeah. Yeah. And LiteCoin's still very close to the top of the coin market caps. So, I think I hear it get dismissed all the time, but then I go here and I look at the list of cryptocurrencies and it's number 4. Right now, so
yep, still one of the largest cryptocurrencies of all time, and I don't see that changing in the near future.
The next random coin we're going to take a quick look at is Bata. We always do a lower market cap coin the second time around, and this one was at 289.
This is a coin that I did not remember a single thing about. I don't remember seeing it get launched or anything.
Yeah, me neither. Bata stands for barter coin,
Okay,
I think.
I like it.
And it is on a nice little slew of exchanges here.
Yeah, these guys are on tons of exchanges. I think that's funny.
They're on Bittrex.
They are on. They're also on the D list, on the warning list. They're not.
Oh, they're on the
delisted
warning
yet,
list.
Yeah,
Nice.
but
Okay.
they're on the warning list.
Not a great spot to be. Looks like their market didn't like that news either.
That's too bad.
Yeah.
As far as the coin itself, it came out in April 2015. It is a no pre-mine, no IPO coin, so just like Luna Coin, I guess you could
Gotta
say.
love them.
And like you said, the idea is that it's for bartering. The idea here is that there's some sort of like secret bartering economy that's going on behind the scenes, in that having a cryptocurrency is going to help you. Having a cryptocurrency token is going to help facilitate that.
More so than Bitcoin?
It's yeah, exactly. That's kind of the
And that's where it ended.
that's the punchline of the joke, is that it doesn't do anything that Bitcoin couldn't do, and that people probably wouldn't rather do with Bitcoin. But it's still around. It pumped when all the other coins did in 2016. It was at about $1,000 market cap in early 2016. Pumped up to about $75,000 market cap, and now is chilling at about half that, around $35,000.
Oh, nice. Well, that's not bad when I look at where it was prior to that pump. It was down in like the sub-1,000 market cap range for a lot of that.
Yeah, it's just really funny to see. It's funny to see how low coins can go, and it's always funny to see one kind of rise up from the ashes there. It gets to a point where it's like penny stocks. Like, you couldn't possibly try to predict which one of these $500 market cap coins is going to be the one that some pumper decides to take up 100x, but it's always fun to see it out there. And who knows what's going to happen to these coins when Bittrex delists them all.
Yeah, I think it's not a very important thing to be listed on Bittrex anymore, unfortunately, is my opinion at the moment. Those coins are going to be fine, basically.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Most of those aren't being traded there. That's why they are going to delist them. Let's see. We'll move right into the new coins from here, I think.
Yep, that does it for the randoms. Next, we will jump into this week's new coins.
We'd like to start off with the proof of work, proof of stake coins. And the first one this week is DrEcks coin.
DrEcks coin. We got a script proof of work high pre-mine coin. And it's just like a joke coin, I guess. There's really not much to say.
Yep, not much there. I don't, maybe Yobit style, dump it.
They have this fake team photo of one of the teammates, and the guy's name is Dr. F.U. Harder. And it's obviously like a joke photo from a TV show or something. And then you actually have people showing up in the thread and being like, is this legit? Is this a serious project? It's like, what? It's like, you can't, if you can't take one look at this picture and tell me that it's not legit, I feel sorry for you. It's very obviously not legit.
Okay.
That's DrEcks coin.
Virtual coin.
Virtual coin. I feel like we've been seeing this announcement like every week, maybe.
Yeah, well, what's so funny is that I feel like what I'm reading here is basically this guy had another virtual coin, and maybe they just decided that they're going to do another one. And what I thought was odd about that was he seems to have a bunch of Bitcoin Talk accounts that are totally down with that idea. Like, yeah, screw the old chain. Let's just do a new one.
Wait, so there was a virtual coin. Now this guy is going to relaunch another coin called Virtual Coin. And it's not going to be a swap. It's just going to be a new chain.
That's what it seems like. In fact, when they ask him like what he can offer existing Virtual Coin users, he says that he can offer them 100 Virtual Coin per tweet, basically.
So just to be part of the bounty program.
Yeah.
Well, that's odd. I wonder.
Yeah, I found that to be. So I don't know.
All right. Well,
there was some mining though, right?
This is sort of It doesn't come. It's not out yet.
Oh.
It comes out in 9 days.
But there will be.
Let's take a look here. We got X11 algorithm. We got 5-minute blocks. Let's see. Looks like just a classic proof of work. What's the block reward schedule like? Looks like it has a really complicated block reward indexed to the difficulty somehow.
Yep.
So it's going to be, you're going to want to get in at launch for something like this.
As usual.
What you got to do is you got to get in at the launch, and then once the difficulty spikes, which will be within like 20 minutes, you just have to cancel your order, get out of it. And then you wait a day or two, and the difficulty might come down again, and then you can start to think about mining it again. But it kind of looks like it might be a decent coin to mine. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah, of course we'll see what happens there.
I really have to wonder about taking the name of the coin and not doing a swap.
Just seems rough.
Oh, maybe it's... No, this part says the coin is Vcoin, so maybe it's just some sort of weird partner coin to virtual coin. I don't know. Very strange.
The next one we're going to look at is Gooby Coin.
Gooby Coin.
Gooby Coin tries to look good at first, and then you're like, wait, there's no source here.
I don't know if it really starts to look good at any point.
Well, it says no. They do the no pre-mine. That's like the number one thing I'm looking for right now.
That's a good point.
It's like hanging a glowing worm in front of me.
and then you're realizing it's got no source and it's probably a virus.
Yeah.
Well, that's Gooby Coin. I wouldn't jump into that one.
Nope.
Next on the list here, we have Trumpence Coin.
Trumpence Coin, probably inevitable that somebody would release another Trump coin during the inauguration.
I don't even think this is the first Trumpence coin.
Huh.
I'm pretty sure somebody already released a coin that was called Trumpence Coin.
Well,
but whatever.
Then here's another one. People are just kind of looks like it's just in the mining phase. There's nothing incredibly special about the mining specs, and
it's a high pre-mine.
Yeah, it's just, and it has the pre-mine, so
just another kind of obvious crappy coin.
And then finally, there was a ninja launch right before the show called Printerium.
And it's also another high pre-mine script clone.
Yeah. I feel like ninja launches aren't really necessary right now.
No, I honestly am a lot more excited about pre-announcements than I am about ninja launches at this point. Everything about the appeal of ninja launches has been just totally drained out by all these crappy clones.
Yeah. We're going to look at a coin that doesn't really fall into any other category for a moment. It's called DustCoin, released this week, and it's a counterparty token that people earn by playing Counter-Strike Global Offensive.
Yep. This is also not the first coin to be Counter-Strike themed.
No, seems like that's a spot where it's popped up multiple times for sure. But
this is counterparty assets. So that's a little different.
Yeah. It's not the type of thing I would ever like go out of my way to be part of, but like back in the day when I played a bunch of Counter-Strike, I would have been excited to be able to get a little bit of change for doing it, I guess.
I would just like to see one of these catch on. They've been like Counter-Strike coins and Minecraft coins and all kinds of specific gaming coins.
Yeah.
I want to see like one of them catch on, and then maybe I'll get excited for the next one,
Yeah, it's just like, what would be the fun of it catching on when that would basically, I think, mean that it becomes worth nothing?
I don't know about that. I mean, if people were theoretically, if people were actually using the token or whatever on the server for reasons unknown to me.
Oh, I just assume you dump it for Bitcoin. That's my mistake.
Right, yeah, that's fair. That's basically what would happen.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's DustCoin though, and it's out there, and honestly wish the guy luck with his project.
Yeah, it sounds cool. Then we are just going to kind of go through the ICOs quickly. We got Pattern ICO. Didn't really look at that one myself. Recovery Coin. This one was a little bit interesting idea-wise because it has something to do with trying to, what they say is measuring a Bitcoin address's key strength, but I honestly don't know what the difference is between that and cracking it, so I'm not following them there.
Yeah, at first they really made it seem like the point of this coin was to use your hash power to try to brute force some of these old Bitcoin addresses with all the Bitcoins on them that haven't moved in a million years. And the idea is that that's what this coin's proof of work is going to do, is to try to crack those. They then have changed it to say that it's not gonna. They I don't know if they actually changed it or if maybe I just read it wrong to begin with, but now they're saying it's only going to measure the strength of the key. And I don't know what any of that means.
Yeah.
But it's a funny idea, and there were some people that were kind of interested in it at first, and I can see why, because that would be a pretty hilarious theme for an altcoin, is like, hey, let's all go try and crack one of these old Bitcoin keys, and then we'll all split the rewards or whatever if we do it. That's fun.
Man.
But the problem is that this is just an unescrowed IPO. So.
Right, yeah, that's what I mean when I get down to the bottom of it, and it's just an unescrowed ICO with such a undecipherable true purpose, then I can't really. I have to treat it like a normal ICO. I thought it was an interesting idea.
It's a bare bones post with a Bitcoin address at the bottom, so it's cool that they had an interesting idea, but they clearly are not the people that can deliver on it.
And then another really another ICO that seems to be picking up a little bit of steam is this marijuana coin.
Yeah, this is getting a lot of attention. It's another weed coin. I kind of am. It would be tough to impress me with a weed coin at this point. Yeah,
there's not a whole bunch there. It seems like it'd be really difficult to mine. They put it in a proof of work phase as well as having an ICO, but the proof of work output is just so low compared to the ICO that it'll be interesting to see exactly how miners can be attracted to it. I'm not personally.
That's the thing. There's 1 million coins IPO. There's also a concurrent proof of stake that's going on. So and the proof of stake reward is about the same as the proof of work reward. So the incentive for miners is very low in this situation, which, that's okay. If that's how you want to play it out, that's fine. But for me, there's not really a good angle on this coin.
Right.
But it looks like they are putting a lot of work into it at least. So
once again, it is unescrowed, but he claims that it's like automated and that the marijuana coin gets delivered like instantaneously. So I don't know. There was Augmentors out there. There's the Internet of Coins. There's BosCoin. There's BackToEarth, and there's Quantum Chain too.
Yep, people are picking up again on the IPO announcements.
So, taking a look back through all of the new posts this week, I guess Virtual Coin looks like the most mineable.
Yeah, I'm not seeing too much to get excited about here, besides Virtual Coin as well.
And if I was a gambling man, then I bet Marijuana Coin's not a terrible ICO, but I don't feel like that type of thing this year. Let's see.
That's going to do it for the new coins this week. Next, we're going to jump into listings.
Listings. Let's see here. Cryptopia.
We did have some SuprNova pool listings. We had Luna Coin and the Marijuana Coin ICO.
Okay. Right on.
So that's out there.
And then over on Cryptopia, they listed Biker Coin and Donation Coin and Eryllium. And I think that was it.
All right. So Cryptopia continuing to add coins. That's always nice. Over on Bittrex, they added something called Golos. I mean, this came out, I had never heard of it. I had no idea. I was so confused. It's like, what is going on?
Yeah, that one definitely caught me off guard.
But apparently it's a Russian Steemit subsidiary almost. It's like a licensed Steemit clone.
Oh, I didn't know if it was licensed or not. I didn't catch that part.
Apparently the Steemit people are in on it or whatever.
Oh, okay.
So it's Golos. It's out there. It's now a top 100 coin, apparently. Through the magic of markets.
Yep. And over on Yobit, they listed Purevidz.
They did. I didn't see anything there on CCX.
No, I feel like they haven't been... They're starting to not tweet everything all of a sudden, though, too. I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah, it seems like Twitter's not as... Crypto goes in phases of what social media they like to use. When we first got in, it was a lot of IRC and Reddit. Then a lot of it shifted to Twitter, it feels like, for a while. And now it's kind of shifted away into Slack and other services.
Yeah, but I mean, where can you even find out where these places are listing things? I mean, Nova Exchange last tweeted in October. I know they've added a lot of stuff since then. They don't even have a place on their website where you can go and see a list. Pretty odd.
That is odd.
And then over on LiveCoin, they did not add anything this week, I don't believe.
Bummer. Seems like a pretty quiet week. Coin Exchange added Luna Coin. I know that. But I'm not sure what else they might have added. They also tend to not tweet all of their ads. Looks like they added Healthywormcoin.
Oh, nice.
And Eryllium. They added a Fedora Coin Doge pair. They have been tweeting. This is great. They added a Creva 2 Bitcoin pair. They added Drone Coin, that kind of scammy coin from last week. Green Coin version 2. Oh, that's an older one. So, yep, that's it. So, a few ads from Coin Exchange there this week. I think Wormcoin is interesting. We've been talking about it, obviously.
Yeah. And then
Luna Coin.
We also mentioned that BTC38 added Zcoin.
Yep, that's right.
Which really, those kind of listings are a little more significant, probably because they open you up to that whole new market.
Yeah, that's huge. I mean, there's no way to describe that as not being a huge win for Zcoin.
So, but nothing that gets me super excited on the listings this week, to be honest.
Yeah, we're kind of watching and waiting still with the new coin markets right now.
Brings us to our final segment of the show, Coin Birthdays.
Happy birthday to a couple of cool coins this week. We're going to start it off with a 2-year birthday for a little coin called Geo Coin.
Yep, and we've talked about Geo Coin before. It's a pretty cool concept, but it seems to be kind of losing a little steam at the moment. But nonetheless, I think they are deserving of a 2-year birthday.
Yeah, they are the unfortunate victim of a Poloniex delisting, and now are probably going to end up on DrEcks chopping block 2, so that's going to totally, completely change the trajectory of the coin. But here's the thing about Geo Coin. This is a coin that has a use, like what Geo Coin is supposed to be about is like the geocaching stuff, right?
Yeah.
And so if that's what Geo Coin wants to be about, it's not really affected by these delistings in a huge way. Like, obviously, for the people who are out there doing this, they'd probably rather have it on Poloniex. But that doesn't mean that it couldn't still function fully well in its core purpose on like a smaller exchange or something. So I think GeoCoin could theoretically stick around for a long time, just kind of doing what it was made to be done for.
So that was January 19th, 2015 they came out.
Yeah, happy birthday to GeoCoin.
And then Potcoin, 3 years.
Oh, wow, interesting. That's obviously been a huge recent pump, and yeah, really a happy birthday to those guys. I remember mining Potcoin back in the day on like Chicken Strips pool.
Yep.
That was fun.
420 coin rewards to start.
Yep.
Of course.
What else?
Yep.
There's 420 coin rewards. It always traded around 400 sat too. I never really thought about that, but I wonder if that wasn't a coincidence either. So yeah, happy 3-year birthday to the Potcoin crew.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I think that's going to do it for the show this week.
Yeah, we want to thank everybody for listening. Don't forget, we're doing this Mineum giveaway. Fire us a tweet. Has anyone claimed it yet?
Let me double check. Nope, still nothing.
All right, so please fire a tweet at us. It's at Chain Dynamics. All you got to do is tweet the answer to the question, which block number will the Mineum POW phase end? Tweet that with your Mineum address. You get some Mineum, so that's pretty cool.
That's how it works.
Yeah, and it's none of the live listeners got it, so if you're listening to this on the archives, you might still have a chance.
This, of course, was Blockchain Dynamics episode number 47, brought to you by Cryptopia.
Yeah, cryptopia.co.nz. Don't forget to stop by our thread there. Leave a comment. You get your 5,000 dots. You're going to love it.
Yep, you'll love those dots.
And that's it. That wraps up episode number 47. Woody, as always, it's been a real treat.
Yep, good talking with you, Brandon, and I'll see you next week with some heavier bags.
Peace.
Like a couple Bitcoins. up on my Nakamoto.